It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and this episode is about the great quarterback debate at 3, but there is no debate that tomorrow you need to tune into the live stream because you are in control of the mock draft.
You don't want to miss this. You want to be a part of this. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that notification bell. Scroll down in your feed. Find tomorrow's live stream and hit that get notified button. That way you're here immediately. This live stream starts because you're going to want to vote. You're going to want to control. You are going to want to make the pick at number 3 for the 49ers. Who's playing quarterback next year?
100% you want to make the choice at 3. But right now we're going to talk about who the 49ers should pick at 3. Horst, who are you going with? Is it Zach Wilson? Will he be there? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Trey Lance? Who's it going to be, Horst?
Well, I think the top quarterback's still Trevor. If for some reason he fell to 3, I would take him. But past him, I would go with Zach Wilson. I don't think between him and Fields is close. I actually like Fields. I think he's got a lot of talent. But I think it kind of goes Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. I just think he's special. The ball comes out of his hands special. His accuracy is special. He can put the ball wherever he wants, and he can put it on a line. He can do it with touch. And the thing I really like about Zach Wilson that someone pointed out to me, that I talked to you about last night, is even with Trevor, is Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, these guys have played since high school with the deck stacked for them. They were on some of the best teams in the country in high school. Then Trevor Lawrence went to Clemson, and there weren't many games where he didn't have the best team on the field around him. Same thing with Justin Fields at Ohio State. Zach Wilson has been in adverse situations. He's played games with less talent around him than the defense they're facing and won. The one thing that scares me slightly about Trevor, I know you can't take too much stock in it. Man, when Ohio State, when things started to go bad, he started turning the ball over. He did not play well in that game. I'm not saying it's an indictment on him, but I'm just saying when he gets to Jacksonville, he is not going to have the best supporting cast in the nation around him. One of the best offensive lines. They're gonna be lower on talent, and that's why I like Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's more of a gamer to me. He's played in those situations in adverse conditions much more than the other guys.
I like that.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I like that take. There's nothing about that that's not fair. That's definitely 100% fair. I like that a lot. I think Zach Wilson is probably the pick there. I believe that to be the case. I think he's the next best quarterback. But there's also rumors and speculation that he may end up going 2. So if he ends up going 2, who do you take there at 3 if Zach Wilson's not available? And there's a lot of it's sprinkled kind of all over the place. People feel certain ways about different types of guys. You talk to Grant Cohn, you talk to the Phil Sims of the world, and they think it's Mac Jones. And I don't think I'm sold on that. I don't believe you're probably sold on that either. I'm not set that would be the guy there. It doesn't make any sense to trade all that draft capital up to get a guy like that who isn't necessarily viewed as a generational type talent quarterback who can do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways at the quarterback position. He's more pigeonholed into more of a pocket quarterback, throwing from the pocket, stuck in that role of being a guy who's not going to be as mobile in space. So that would leave a few options left on the table, right? It would leave Justin Fields and it would leave Trey Lance. And while both guys have their flaws, both guys struggle with reads and making multiple reads, getting out of their first and maybe even second reads or reading more than one side of the field, Justin Fields feels like the better pick there if there isn't a Zach Wilson available over a Trey Lance. It doesn't make a lot of sense to trade up at 3 to take Trey Lance there because there was a good opportunity you could get Trey Lance still at 12. So giving up draft capital to move to 3 to get Trey Lance doesn't make sense. So at pick 3 for me, it leaves one of 2 guys. It leaves Zach Wilson or it leaves Trey Lance. It leaves Zach Wilson or it leaves Justin Fields. One of those 2 has to be the pick there at 3. It can't be anybody else because it doesn't make sense to give up the capital to get anyone else.
Yeah, so basically what this comes down to is either the 49ers have inside information that the Jets are not taking, a quarterback. If they do, then they know that they're going to get Wilson, and that's why they went up to 3. So if that's the scenario and that's the case, they already know they're going to get their guy. If they don't know that and they went up to 3, it means they're completely comfortable with Fields or Trey Lance. Now, they have been negotiating with Atlanta and with the Bengals as well about moving up either to 4 or 5, not just 3 with Miami. Could they have found out that the Falcons really like Trey Lance? Trey Lance had his pro day. Maybe they found out that's who Kyle is really targeting. And maybe Kyle needed to jump in front of Atlanta to get him. But the only thing I have to say about that is if they were negotiating with Atlanta and Atlanta is ready to move off, they obviously weren't that hot on Trey Lance. So you don't have to move on. So, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about exactly what the 49ers are going to do and why they did what they did. I think the most plausible thing is that they are comfortable with the top 3 quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson. And they want one of those guys, and they know one of those guys will be there. It would not throw me for a loop, though, if they went with Trey Lance, just because the upside, the ability that he has. I think that wouldn't throw me for a loop. It would throw me for a loop if they went Mac Jones, because going all the way up to 3 and then taking Mac Jones, when I think you could have, traded to 7 and gave up way less, capital.
Do you really believe, and honestly, both of you guys, do you honestly believe they would have had to trade up to get Mac Jones?
I think so. I think you would have had to get ahead of Carolina.
Spots.
Yeah, because look at it like this. Let's say it was going to play out like people said. Let's say that he was not getting past Carolina at 8. And Carolina probably would have came up to 3 to get their quarterback. So there would have been another needy team. The Eagles have been talking about maybe coming up. Now they traded back. Washington and Chicago would have been trying to jump up to get somebody eventually. I think that it was starting to look like 5 quarterbacks could go in the top 10, which is absolutely nuts. But I just don't know. I think they could have. And I think that's the thing you're fearful of. But now you've at least secured, whether it's Fields, whether it's Lance, whether it's Jones, that you get the guy that Kyle Shanahan wants. Of course, I think we all hope it's Zach Wilson.
Agreed.
I think it's Zach Wilson for me. And we've talked about this, Horst. What about the craziness of Urban Meyer selecting Justin Fields at 1, and then having Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence sitting there at 2? I mean, what would the Jets do? Would they still, who would they draft?
If I'm the Jets, though, I don't think quarterback's their biggest need. If I'm the Jets, I'm taking Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. You put him, him and Becton on opposite sides.
But what happens if in the scenario he says they go Justin Fields at 1 and Trevor Lawrence is sitting there at 2?
Okay, so we want to get into.
Well, I mean, do the Jets completely bollocks that draft pick and just stick with their draft strategy and take a guy like Sewell, like you just said, or do they take Lawrence?
I take Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Unless they really believe that they have something in Darnold. They've seen something on film that none of us have seen. Not even being disrespectful, he hasn't looked good. And that might be all Adam Gase's fault. Adam Gase is dookie. But he hasn't shown anywhere near being the 4th, 5th?
Yeah, I think he was 3rd or 4th.
Being a top 5 draft pick.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're the Jets and you believe that Trevor is a once-in-a-generation Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning type guy, John Elway, all the different guys that came out of college rated that high, I think you have to take him. But if he falls to the Niners, I think stuff's going to get real interesting. Because not taking a guy like that and then him turning out while your team sputters a little bit is the kind of move that gets you fired.
100%.
I mean, would
and
they
that's it. No matter what team doesn't take.
Would the Jets be really tempted to take Penei Sewell because they want to get that run game established and then build through defense with Robert Saleh? I mean, would that be the ultimate move for them? I mean, they have Sam Darnold, who's considered a first-round talent.
Yeah.
A lot of people still think he would have been, at least one of the top quarterbacks in this draft if he'd have been coming out.
The only problem with that scenario, which I think it's plausible, that him falling to 3 right there, I think it's plausible. But the only issue with it is the Jets, I don't see their owner not immediately trying to force them to grab Lawrence. if he were to fall to 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets are where they are for a reason.
Yeah. Consistently.
Every year for like the last 20 years.
No offense.
Except for meant offense.
Oh, jeez.
He towards their ownership, not the fans.
Okay, good. All right, yeah.
And so they seem like one of those ownership groups that would butt in or say, oh my gosh, Trevor Lawrence, because the owner knows Trevor Lawrence's name.
Yeah.
And the owner saw Trevor Lawrence on TV.
Saw him throw a touchdown pass somewhere?
Yeah, and knows who he is. So that I could see that happening. Just like in the movie Draft Day where the owner really wants him to pick the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being a serious thing right there.
Huh? I mean, it could happen. It very well could. It's a crazy scenario. Trevor Lawrence falling to 3 or him getting taken at 2 and us landing with Zach Wilson in some sort of crazy scenario. But I do agree with both of you. I think the 49ers are comfortable with either fields.
I think it's less crazy, though, than people think.
I agree with you there. I think it's less crazy. And the Ohio State connection with Urban Meyer and just him actively recruiting Justin Fields as much as he was when he was coming out at the time, it makes sense.
Well, and Urban's I'm assuming he's going to run a similar offense to what he's always ran.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Fields knows it.
Correct.
Or at least, and he can operate it at a different level as far as the run part of it goes, the run game.
So it all depends what Urban Meyer wants out of his quarterback.
Yep. It's going to be very interesting to say the least. And another thing that's going to be interesting is that mock draft Friday. We already brought it up. We're going to keep bringing it up. We've been bringing it up all week. We're going to send this thing home and plug it one more time for you because you need to be here. Fan-controlled mock draft tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. You don't want to miss this. Hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that like button as well. Hit that notification bell. Get notified. Be here tomorrow. Cause all sorts of chaos and greatness in the chat. You want to be a part of this. Don't miss out.
Yep. Which quarterback are you going to take at number 3? Who is going to be there? Who are the Jets going to take at 2? Who's Jacksonville going to take at 1? Who's going to be left for you to pick? And are you going to pick a quarterback? Hopefully you do. But let's see what happens. I am 100% curious what happens.
Just don't take a kicker.
Let us know if it's Kellen Mond.
Don't take a kicker. Please don't be Kellen Mond.
Don't be Kellen Mond.
Don't be Kellen Mond. Please, for the love of God.
Or are you going to take a star like Tim Tebow?
I don't think
he's not draft eligible.
No, once you switch sports and come back, you're draft eligible.
No, that's not accurate.
Don't listen to this man. Until next time, 49ers fans, you stay safe.
Remember the right way.
Is always the 49ers way.
Not the horse way.
No.
Not always.
Never.